told him to his face, he epitomizes the worst of law enforcement in this community. He epitomizes the worst of law enforcement in this country. This man still stood up and said that there's nothing to do with race where law enforcement is concerned. When you look around this country, you see it. You look in the city, you see it. He totally denies it and said that I'm a bully. He said the bully wins, right? And I was like, I'm glad you know I'm a bully. So every time you come back, the bully gonna be standing at the door. But we need all of our people, more of our people, to stand up like this. So this really wasn't about me. This is about sending these people a message. You got to be careful which Negro you mess with, because you might just get punched back.
Right. Now. Go ahead. No. The point I was gonna make was that, whenever you put them in a position that they have to respond to, and they can't refute what you're saying, to say what you're saying is untrue. See, that's what I was saying. Everything I saw following Ricky's situation with this commission head, I ain't seen nobody say he was lying about nothing.
Of course not. Oh yeah. But they never do. You know, they never can say. That's like much. He keeps going time and time again. He's shown that he's partial and he's anti-police. And my whole thing with him is cite it. Mm-hmm. Cite those times. There's not a good police officer in this city. One, Dave Muchler claiming that he has this blanket support from police is a lie. He does not have blanket support from police. A lot of police officers on the force don't even care for the man. You would be shocked how many police officers have come up to me and said, I support you, I appreciate what you're doing. The only police officers, whether they are active members in the Fraternal Order of Police or they are your street patrolmen, the only ones who are apprehensive about a person like me or anyone else serving on a review panel like that are the bad cops. Right. Those are the ones who are concerned. The good police officers aren't concerned. I embrace good police officers, as most of us do. But nobody in their right mind, and nobody should continue to sit passively by while police officers around this country abuse people, harass people, injure people, sometimes kill people, and at times these people are our children. Mm-hmm. We can't do that.
Now, I believe this is something I got from the paper that you had said. Good police, I love them. I think they're underpaid and unappreciated. But the bad police need to be pushed out of our community.
Yeah, that is a proper quote. Okay. And you know, I'm always on the media outlets, from the Courier Journal, you know, I write for the Courier, to the TV stations. I'm like, y'all need to understand, I have platforms to tell my own story, right? So if you interview me and you take something out of context, I'm going to call you out on it. So you need to report properly. So that is an accurate quote. I certainly support good police. And I said at the small committee meeting, man, I do not want to live in a society without police. I think they serve an essential role in our society. But I don't want to live in a society where police can't be questioned either. Right. That is a totalitarian, undemocratic state.
Well, I agree with everything Doc's saying right there. See, we got to understand that history tells us how these people behave. The quote about Muchler being compared to Bull Connor, in my point, I thought I'm saying he's exactly right. If Muchler had the power that Bull Connor had, he would release the dogs and the horses.
Oh, I completely
without
believe
a
that.
doubt.
You look at the letter that Dave Muchler wrote a couple of years ago, almost 2 years ago now, and unleashed on this community. I didn't have to tell anybody who understands history and knows who Bull Connor is. I doubt Dave Muchler knew who Bull Connor was. I mentioned the name. He probably had to go jump on Wikipedia. But you're absolutely right. If you place him in the temporal context of Bull Connor, that Bull Connor is Dave Muchler, and Dave Muchler is Bull Connor.
Simple as that. See.
And in fact, I'm disrespecting Bull Connor by comparing him to Dave Muchler.
Okay, but Doc, the thing I love the most is that we have a person like you that they can shine the light on, and then when they get the light on you, they realize we picked the wrong person.
Right, yeah.
See, and everybody who feel like you should line up and say, put the light over here, put the light over here, put the light over here. Because I feel the same way. I am about my people making progress. But if you put obstacles up in front of my people doing that, then I'm going to call you for what you are. Simple as that.
Well, I think there are a couple of things I'm very serious about, JT. I mean, one, I'm very serious about this idea of freedom. of being a free man, of all of us being free people. You don't have to have physical shackles on you to be a slave. If you're a person who's consistently living in fear,
right?
Fear of speaking your mind, so much fear that no matter what people are doing to you, people around you, or your people in general, that you're afraid to say a word. You're a slave. You're not free, and that has nothing to do with skin tone. Okay, you could be black, white, but you are a slave. And I'm just committed to not living that way, and I hope more and more of our people see that example, that black men and women can stand up, fight back, tell the truth, and live to tell the story. That's really important. And the second thing for me, man, I love and respect black people. I really, really do. And I have worked very, very hard in my life. And folk might get mad at me sometimes, but it's important to me that I live my life in such a way that I never embarrass my mama and I don't embarrass my people. I want my people to be able to stand up behind me and say, we support him, period. Not we support him, but we support him in spite of, I don't want to put them in that type of position.
Right. See, just reading people should always tune in to your radio program when you take the mothership out.
Oh, yeah, every Sunday morning at 10, man.
Hey, I mean, serious stuff happen on that, man.
Yeah, we're back tomorrow.
And the way you bring it.
Yeah.
And the young brother, I ain't never met him.
12.
12.
Mm-hmm.
Was he the friend of the community or something?
Yeah.
But see, it's all
12
good
for the city.
because we need these type of this type of commentary on a regular basis. Right here, LOU, the only thing you get it here on Saturdays. You get you on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But we need to be on 7 days a week.
Well, what I've tried to do as an individual, I don't know how close we are to your first break, Brother Lynn.
But about 2 minutes.
Okay. But what I've tried to do as we get up to this break, and run a radio show, you know how those hard breaks are. I've tried to develop multiple platforms as an individual where I can reach our people, right? Everybody ain't going to be able to take a college class, even though I've always opened my classroom up at the university so people are consistently visiting. But if you ain't taking a class, I write a book, right? If you ain't trying to read a whole book, and a lot of people don't have time to do that, or they might not be able to get down with scholarly writing, then I write a newspaper column, so you can do that in 900 words. If you don't want to read it all, then we drop the radio show, where you can sit back and you can listen on Sunday morning at 10 on 93.1. Or you can go to my website, rickyljones.com, and pick up the podcast anytime. But what they're all about in 12 says this. He's like, man, you're always in teaching mode. And I'm like, yeah, I'm always in teaching mode. So if you listen, to our radio show, we have fun. We laugh, we make jokes, everything, but it always comes back to teaching. And that's really important.
Cool. Let me ask you, you had mentioned earlier, we talked a little bit about Bull Connor. When we talk about racism, right here in the city of Louisville and racism in America, do you think racism is better today than it was in 1960?
In some respects, yes. And we might have to wait till after the break to get deep off into this one. Okay. The short answer is, in some respects, yes. In other respects, no. In some ways, racism is much more intractable now than it was in the 50s and 60s. It's harder to get your arms around it, right? You don't have these measurables that you can see. There are no black-white water fountains, black-white bathrooms, black-white schools necessarily. But when you look at the way policy is going through, all of this push in this state for neighborhood schools, guess what? Neighborhood schools are segregated schools. Remember, Louisville is the fourth most segregated city in the country. Yeah. So if you have neighborhood schools, you have segregated schools. So you have to be much more disciplined and insightful to figure out where racism is. And also, the racists have played a very neat trick these days. The racists have tried to define race out of existence, right? And if you see something that is about race and you call that out, they'll tell you that you're the racist, right? So in many ways, it's more difficult.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I just want to recommend this book called The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. And you need to get it. You need to get it, people, so you can understand at the end of the day, it's going to be about the money. And there's a big difference in the money.
Now, let's talk about segregation. And did that hurt black people or did it help black people? And I want both of you guys to respond to that.
You're saying segregation itself or integration?
Integration.
Integration hurt.
Integration.
I'm not a neo-segregationist. And you know, there are a lot of people who feel like, you know, we were much better when we were segregated. I believe that we need a society where everything is open to black people. Now, I'm not one of those dudes who feel like you're somehow better if you're the only black family in your neighborhood. I mean, ain't nobody trying to live like Ruby Bridges, man.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, you know, nobody's trying to send their kid to school
Right.
where they're the only black kid and all of that foolishness. But I think everything needs to be open. So I'm not a segregationist. You know, I'm not about segregation, but I am about black empowerment. I'm about black people being able to be at the table, not naked and in need, and functioning in a way where they can come with some dignity and leverage.
And me myself, I could be identified as a desegregationist. See, I don't necessarily need to integrate with white people, but I need to have all the opportunities that white people have. I want my children to understand that it's certain things in this society that you must have in order to remain sane. At the end of the day, we're gonna have to count the money. When I go home in my house, I have to count the money to see how my family gonna live. And everybody who's around me, we gotta know. Now, somebody gotta bring some money in here. Now, when you read that book, The Color of Law, you're gonna see how wealth was created and the role that the government played in doing it and the role that the government played in shutting you out of the wealth. And it speaks to right now. We got 5%, they got 95%. Simple as that. When you count the money and you look at your child, and he go to high school or something, and his classmates roll up in a brand new Benz, brand new BMW, and you can't hardly get bus fare. Come on now. Who are you gonna blame for that?
Well, you are listening to Community Connections Radio Show. Our special guest today, Dr. Ricky Jones from University of Louisville, and my good friend, J.T. Woods.
Good friend on the good foot.
Good friend on the good foot. And Mike Hicks is bringing up the rear over here. So we'll be right back in a few minutes. Stay tuned.
Look, I just want to recommend this book called The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. And
Yeah, good
you
book.
need to get it. You need to get it, people, so you can understand at the end of the day, it's going to be about the money. And there's a big difference in the money.
Seen us make mistakes. Black people try to protect Clarence Thomas.
Come on.
As foolish as he is, black
Right.
people try to protect OJ.
Right.
Nobody care about, you know, we were protective of people who kind of made it. But so many of these people just sell us out, man. So many of these people disappoint us. And so many of these people function from these positions of selfishness and indecency, you know, that is disappointing. That's why I say I just can't disappoint our people. And you know, and there's some good white folk who know what's right. And they've always existed. You've always had the John Browns, the William Lloyd Garrisons who are around. And so I love all of those people. So how did it make me feel? That's a long answer, man. Encouraged ain't strong enough.
Okay.
Loved ain't strong enough. I mean, like I said, because you know how much I love Atlanta.
Right.
I mean, I'm an Atlanta kid.
Right.
And I didn't grow up out in Decatur or Stone Mountain in the sub. I grew up in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, man. And it felt like I was home in Atlanta. It felt like home. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, see, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I just wanted to make the point, you know, when you say, I hit a term, ride or die. That means that I'm your buddy. I'm going to stick with you. You ain't got to worry about it. You don't even have to think about it.
Right.
You know I'm there with you.
Right.
Right. So, my thing is just here. When Rick see me, he know.
I do.
However you
And I've been
define
knowing for
it.
like 20 years. I know when
You know
I
what
see
I'm
JT.
He's going to be J.T. Woods, and he's going to never lie to me.
That's real.
He's going to be honest with me regardless.
That's right.
And if it kills him, so be it. But he's not going to turn on me for my enemy.
Nah, I can't.
That's
I can't
right.
do that.
That's right.
And I think too, Brother Linton, and this is something that I've really been paying attention to for quite some time. You know, this idea of this dichotomy between courage and credentials, right? And here's the problem that we got. We got a lot of brothers and sisters out here who got some courage, but they ain't got credentials, so they can't enter into certain spaces. People won't let them in. They'll disrespect them. They'll push them out immediately. They'll give them no credence. And then we got some other black folk with credentials, and most of them ain't got no courage. They give you every excuse under the sun why they won't say anything or do anything, when the reality of the situation is really they're cowards, right? And so what I am interested in trying to, one, exemplify and consistently recreate in my students are black folk, men and women, who got both courage and credentials.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Because they're going to come for you.
Right.
I mean, they're going to come for you whether you're making $30 a week or $130,000 a year.
Right.
They're going to come for you whether you got a third grade education or you got a PhD.
Right.
They've shown you that.
That's right.
You know, they've shown you that.
Yes,
I was more educated than any of those people who were talking all that trash.
Yeah.
Right.
But they still wanted to talk that trash.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Jones, let me take you back for a moment because we are, you know, I love you and I'm proud of you and I've watched you do work for years now.
I'm just a project kid from Atlanta though, man.
But let me tell some things that some people may not remember. We when we had the coffee house on 18th and Muhammad Ali,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Expressions
Dr.
of you.
Jones, Dr. Jones would come down
Right.
on I think it was a Tuesday night or Thursday night.
I know what
Tuesday
you're
night.
talking about. Yeah, I know what you're about to go back to.
He's always in the teacher mode, as you was talking about earlier, in teach class in a small coffee house on the corner of 18th and Muhammad Ali.
Right.
And man, I will never ever forget that.
We
Man.
had like 60-some people in that.
I know
I
it.
came every week. Well, what I did in that's been years ago, man.
Yeah.
What I decided to do was take our Introduction to Black Studies class, to Introduction to Pan-African Studies class, and just teach it in the community. And Blaine Hudson was the dean at the time.
Yeah.
And so I lobbied Blaine for some funds. This was before we had any money.
Mm-hmm.
And the college bought all the books. So they bought like 65 books and gave the books to the people. And the people came out every week. It was incredible. They came out every week for about a 10-week course.
We actually ran
great.
out of books.
Yeah,
because
did.
we had more people than we had seats in books.
Well, yeah. That's,
Which was a
and they
good thing.
kept coming. And it was free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody got
I
paid
want to
anything.
pivot on what you just. I want to pivot on what you had just mentioned about Dr. Blaine Hudson. Talk a little bit on, what sort of influence that he may have been toward you and your work. You're a project kid from Atlanta. You've had at the same time in the 20 years that you've been here in Louisville. There's obviously been sources of influence for you. Could you have a word on that?
Yeah. That goes to a different question, Mike. I mean, it's a good one. Okay, it's a good one, but it goes down a very different road. Now, I'm a kid who grew up. I didn't grow up with my father. I didn't meet my father until I was 35, probably after I taught that class or right around that time. But what I've done in my life, I was reading an article on Barack Obama, ironically, some time ago. And it was talking about the psychology of fatherless males, right? Of successful fatherless males. And it was saying that what Obama did, as a lot of fatherless males do, will go through life, in effect, adopting, collecting fathers. And it was saying that Obama did that,
Okay.
And a lot of them. Now, one thing that happens with people who come from environments like me and without a father, my mother was 15 when she had me. My grandmother couldn't read, raised me in the projects. A lot of kids get crushed out. I mean, they just get crushed. They don't make it out of that. But the ones that do, they have certain survival instincts. Very independent, real resilient, a little bit ruthless in some ways. Okay. But we also collect fathers. Okay. And as I thought about my life, I really started collecting fathers when I was in about 8th grade. It's got James Terry. I collected him. I collected Tobe Johnson when I was at Morehouse College. People like Abraham Davis. I collected Chester Grundy, Buzz Burnham, George Brown. When I was at UK, then I got here, I collected Bob Douglas. And I collected Blaine Hudson. I've collected people like JT. You ain't old enough to be my daddy, James. But I've collected a lot of those people over the years. And they've all influenced me. Now, as a professional, Blaine influenced me more as an administrator than he did as a teacher. Okay. We have very different personalities.
Oh, absolutely.
Blaine was really laid back, but I loved Blaine Hudson. I mean, I loved him. He was both professionally and personally a very calming influence in my life, and I miss him. I miss him desperately.
Yeah, when you talk about Blaine, I have to say, Blaine saved me, and I was older than Blaine, but I went to the side of the academy, right at 20 years, and Blaine sacrificed for our community every week. Sometimes he would just stop what he was doing, wouldn't want nobody to be at the academy but me, and just teach me.
Yeah.
But what it did, it made me see some things in a way on the job that I was working. Had I not got that information that Blaine provided, they'd have been able to get me before I could walk out of there with a pension.
But they didn't get you.
They didn't get me because the decisions I made were influenced by the information that I had received from Blaine putting me in my history. This is what has happened to your people, and this is the way it happened to them. And the same thing apply today.
Well, Blaine told me something real, because, I talk to people in my profession, and, there are levels of professors. You start off as an assistant professor, you do that, your probationary period is 6 years, you get tenured, you go to associate, and the highest level of professor is full professor. And so theoretically, as an assistant, that's the time when they can get you professionally if they're going to get you. And so I talk to people now who are assistants, they go, well, you can do this, Rick, you got tenure. I'm like, dude, I was crazier as an assistant than I am as a full,
right?
In many ways, right? But Blaine told me something key because I got involved with the advocacy community here very quickly. I was already into that. Yeah. I was into that at the Naval Academy. I was into that at Morehouse. I was into that at UK. And I brought that with me here. But Blaine told me something key. He said, you gotta, the very first thing is that you gotta be very good at what you do.
Hello.
If you're very good at what you do, when they come for you, and again, they will come for you.
Sir.
You gotta be able to. You gotta set the record in front of them, and so that's important. If you half-assing it now, that's what I always think about scared people. I don't care if they're lawyers, professors, bankers, coffee shop owners, radio hosts. That's what I think about scared people. When I meet scared people, I'm like, you're not good at what you do. That's your problem. And all of us have hooped at some point. They're self-checks. A lot of times they can do stuff and really make a difference, and ain't nobody gonna say a word. But these scared people, they won't even try. And man, my thought is, to close that subject out, God didn't make us, and our mothers didn't raise us, and our fathers, we had fathers with us, to be, if we have any modicum of success, right, to be that type of cancerous influence in black communities. Not because sometimes it might be actively negative, but the benign neglect. We can never, ever abstain from struggle. I never abstain. No knock on David James there. But I never abstain. I'm going to take a stance one way or the other. Because I don't care if people like me. None of us should. My grandfather told me that. He said, don't never ever trust a man that everybody like. He don't stand for nothing. Think about it. If there's somebody that everybody like them, they don't stand for nothing. So that's why when a person like Dave Mutchler hates me, I'm doing something right.
Yes.
If a cat like that is cool with me, or Julie Denton is cool with me, or half of the people in rural Kentucky who read the Courier Journal and send all kind of crazy stuff, if they cool with me, I'm doing something wrong.
All right.
I'm not your Negro. See, as James, that documentary about James Baldwin said, nah.
Yeah, and I got to request that Brother Linton set up a showing of that. See, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, you gotta see it.
No, I got the book, and the DVD came in my mail today.
Okay. Well, yeah, go home.
I got it. Yeah, I just didn't want to go to the
Speed.
Well, when it first showed at the Speed, it kind of sold out real fast. Yeah. But anyway.
Oh man, it's jarring. It is jarring.
Yeah, I have to analyze stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Two of the deepest things before we get off Baldwin, because Baldwin's one of my favorites. Malcolm X even said about the March on Washington, they wouldn't let Jimmy Baldwin speak. Because you never knew what Jimmy Baldwin might say.
Yeah.
Right? But Jimmy Baldwin said two things that really stuck with me from that before you see it, and it doesn't ruin it for you. But he talked about white America. He said white America has gone along so long, doing inhumane, barbaric things to people, and never stopping to apologize or take account or responsibility for what they've done, that a good percentage of white America has become moral monsters. I mean, that's Baldwin quote. So they have become moral monsters. And so we're dealing with the residuals of that. And then he also said to them, he said, look, I cannot believe what you say, because I see what you do.
Oh.
That's James Baldwin, man. That's James Baldwin, bro.
That was heavy, dog.
Talk about learning, yeah. See, we in teaching mode right now, too.
Right.
You gotta set
We
that
got to
up,
set that up. We got a building over in Portland. I don't know if I told you about that.
No, yeah.
Called Community Connections Group.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to be doing some training with young boys between the ages of 6 and 12. Just tying ties, showing brothers how to shake hands, how to look a person in the eye when they talk, and just being young men.
They look them in the eye, they might think they uppity.
Right. That's what happens. That's what happens when you get that daddy in your life. Yeah.
You're not allowed to look them in the eye.
No, you got to get off the sidewalk. You cannot talk back.
That was a crime for real.
I know.
I mean, that could get you killed.
Yeah, the look of a white person in the eye could get you
killed.
killed.
You did that, and see, our children don't understand that was real.
Yeah, I know, man.
See, right now, one of our faults is that we do not tell our story to our children.
Well, you can't teach what you don't know.
I'm probably the oldest person in here. And everything, but when I start thinking about my parents, I tell people all the time, the older I get, the more respect I have for my parents. To think about my dad now and know that he could put food on the table for us when he had to deal with America like he at his time.
Yeah,
Man,
but JG, it's difficult too when you look at a lot of our people, right, and how damaged they've been.
Yeah.
And so I don't.
And the trauma they've been through.
Yeah. Because look, deformed systems create deformed human beings. And when you look at the American socio-political system and how it deals with people of color, this is a deformed system. Okay, it is a deformed system, and there is no way that deformed human beings can't come out of that. And so you see a lot of our people, man, they don't want to read.
Right.
They want to watch reality TV, and all of this stuff. And it is poisoning. It is poisoning our minds. It really is.
Right.
But it's the deformity of the system that's working on it.
Right. Well, you guys, you're listening to Dr. Ricky Jones and my good friend J.T. Woods and Michael Hicks, and we'll come back from a commercial break in just a few minutes.
Boomayay!
To unite in other cities to change things?
No, we're already seeing it to some degree. I think for a while. I mean, we'll have our moments. I think there are a few things going on. One, black people are looking for people that they can rally around. Like a Michael Jordan or LeBron James to take it home. Somebody that they know is talented, somebody they know got some courage, somebody they know is not selfish, and somebody they know won't betray them. Hopefully, I give that to some people here. I mean, there's certainly some people that hate my guts, black and white. Right. But the ones who do, care something about me and really look at what I do, hopefully, I give them that. And I think what we're seeing this at every level. Donald Trump nationally, Matt Bevin statewide, the Julie Dentons of the world here locally. These people are showing you how incredibly aggressive that type of backwards European descended thought can be if left unchecked. So I think black people will come together, do come together. But there's so many factors on the system, from the system pulling black people apart as well. And they always have. And so that's why we were talking, right, Michael, during the break, you talking about all black people. There's always going to be some black people who are crabs.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
Always.
You can go out and save 100 babies in the middle of Broadway right now, man. There going to be some black people like, what's wrong with you saving them babies? God wanted them babies to die. They're going to come up with something, right? But that's not all of our people. We just never give up on our people.
Okay. I believe we got a caller. Go ahead, caller. I can hear you now. Thank you, caller. Go ahead.
Hey, Brother Linton, this is Sister Sarah Kia.
Hey, how you doing, sister?
Hey, Ricky.
Sarah Kia, what's up, baby?
What's going on, my brother?
No, nothing much. Same old, same old.
I mean, just listening to y'all, I'm telling you, I'm trying to hold back the tears. It's just all I can say. I mean, I just want to say, I know my other brothers there, Sagittarius there, nothing but love for y'all brothers. But I'm telling you, when I heard that first issue come up, first of all, there was the anger, and then I took it personal. Because I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, you attacked my son, my brother-in-law. I went into mother, auntie, sister, all that mode. You see what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
That's right.
All of that, because that's the way that I felt. And I also, like you said, listening, knowing that we're supposed to be free, and you're going to challenge somebody that I know is free-minded, it was just, I'm kind of emotional right now.
Well, that's exactly why they made the challenge, right?
Yeah, and I posted on Facebook. I said, I tell you what, I said, they picked the right one to mess.
Well, we all agree with that one.
I listened to your story earlier that you were sharing about, you coming up the way you come up, and I think about my own son who came up pretty much the same way,
Right.
And then, just like you said, there's that resilience because he went on to be a full-time military person in 91 and still there, and he's ready to get out now. But throughout that entire time, he's just done things that are unspeakable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I totally related to what you were saying, about your struggle. And I remember when I first met you, I'm like, I know me and Ricky ain't always been close, and we ain't always. I said, but boy, they're wrong. They can know. No, this cannot happen.
Right.
That's what I was feeling.
Thank
But
you, Sarah.
I'm telling you, like you said, the teaching and all the people that you mentioned, I'm connected to all those people. But you stay and teach them on. I just want to let you know, babe, look, I love you.
Oh, thank you so much, sister.
And I love you and every one of them brothers sitting in there with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we got to have it. I want to ask you, though, what is going on now, the latest in this situation here? Because I know you said you wasn't picked, you was asked to sit on.
Well, it's over now. I mean, the commission, the full council vote was Thursday night, and so I'm a part of that review panel. And so,
And you are.
yes, I'm a part of the review panel.
Yeah, it's official now.
Ask me now.
Yeah, that's over. So, as Dave Muchler said, the bully wins, right?
Right.
You all,
And I had a brother that had the nerve to ask me, and he was sounding a lot like Dave. I was like, what is wrong with you? He was sounding like him, and he was asking me, he was like, well, why are we, this position is not all this. I said, well, if this position is not all that, then why would Dave Butler go into a frenzy, him and Judy, why would they go into a frenzy being concerned about Ricky Jones sitting on the panel?
because it's not about the position, but it is about an ideological sea change.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. I mean, so the idea is they see that as a crack in the wall. I mean, and again, this is not new.
Oh, like I said again, they chose to pick the right one.
Yeah.
All right. We thank you for your call,
Thanks,
sister.
Sarah, kid.
All right. God bless now.
Yeah, but that is important for people to remember, because people consistently come and say, congratulations. Okay, don't congratulate me on that panel. We need to be congratulated as a community.
That's right.
About standing up, showing, the majority group, especially those who have negative ideas about black people and choosing black voices, that there has been a change in black ideology now, right? That they cannot do that. We're not going to allow that. And so what this really was about was the attempt at a public crucifixion to scare all the other Negroes who would even dare to think about standing up.
Right.
That's
right.
really what this was.
Yes, sir.
But I broke the cross.
No.
Right? Like, nah, you ain't hanging me up on there. And the people came in, the people did not sit, idly by, because they saw what was going on. And that's the good thing about this time. You seeing this stuff that is so blatant, from the Trumps and the Steve. I mean, Brett Ackerson went so far as to compare me to Steve Bannon and Bill O'Reilly. That's how insane, he was like, well, I wouldn't want them. And I'm like, you got to use them as an example? You're going to say I'm as extreme as these people? These people who are dyed in the wool racist? Really? I mean, are you out of your mind? Right? But people aren't stupid. People know they're being lied to. People know they're being exploited. The only question is, how can they respond? So this was just a moment where people had an opportunity to respond, and hopefully it'll help somebody to say, you know what? Let me check myself. I got to fight back too in whatever space I'm in, whether you at Frito-Lay, you at the University of Louisville, you at Harvard, you at UCLA, you working in government in Frankfurt or DC, or you a damn babysitter at a daycare where black children are being neglected. You'll stand up wherever you are. It's really important.
Amen. Amen. Let me ask you this. We got a lot of single families that listen to our show.
Right.
And no fathers in the household, young people growing up. What words of encouragement would you have for the mother and the young brothers?
I think black families have always functioned with a different model. You know, even if a father isn't in the house, doesn't mean there aren't father figures around these kids. You know, for me, I had uncles. You know, I had people in the community. I had all of that. I would hope that we stabilize things. I don't think that people necessarily have to be married, but you need to have a healthy parental relationship.
Yeah,
all of this is about our children, man.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 9-year-old daughter, and so everything I do, I don't want to shame black people, you know, but I also don't want to leave this world in the same condition that it was in when I came in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I go out of it, for my daughter to live in it. I ain't leaving my baby out there like that.
No. Yes, sir.
So we all got to try to take care of these young kids as best as we can, and it tires us out, but we have to do it.
Yeah, like you said, the most important thing to me has always been the children. The children is the most important thing that we have. But I want to say this: we should be, when there's a first black to do this, a first black to do that, we must take it further when we're dealing with our children and tell them they are the first black to do this or that in their system.
And yes, right. Speak to the system. Why do we still have these firsts in the 21st century? I know we're running out of time, man.
Yeah.
But why do we still have these firsts? It's not that black people aren't intelligent. It's not that black people aren't talented. It's not that black people don't work hard. I hate it when these people talk all this foolishness about black people don't want to work. You come from the same people who sat up on these plantations on the porch drinking mint juleps while you had other people out in the doggone fields working from can't see in the morning to can't see at night. And who you gonna say is sorry as hell? Who you gonna say is lazy? Who you gonna say don't want to work? When you're willing to exploit other human beings in that way and still doing it.
Yes.
Shift that narrative. So it's the system. It's not our people. Wherever we are not, we're a product of this system. And it is the system that must continuously be interrogated, challenged, and altered. That's what they're afraid of. That black people will wake up and say, nah, bruh. It ain't about us. When you talk about black on black crime, really? Let's talk about crime and let's talk about what breeds it. All of these things. I know we out of time.
Whoa. We got to have you back, brother. But the end is an hour ain't long enough. I always say long enough, man. I want to thank everybody who's sitting in the studio for being here today. It was a great show. And always, this man is always in the teaching mode.
Yes.
And we love you for that, brother.
Hey, man, I love y'all back. I mean, serious business. This city has put its arms around me, and I love y'all brothers, and I love everybody. If I don't know your name, come up to me, and I will hug you and kiss you on the cheek, male or female. Don't take it the wrong way, brother. But I'm just showing you my love.
Yes, sir. Again, you listen to Community Connections, man, and we had a great show today. Take us home, Max. God bless. See you next week.